Welcome back to Vegas Sports Nuts, coming to you live, not on tape, from Murphy's Law on Flamingo Road, just east of Maryland Parkway. First week of the playoffs. Bengals didn't show up for a lot of the game today. With me to the right, as always, Mario Moneyline Longobardi. To the left, Marty Martini. Welcome,
hello,
gentlemen. Good to see you both. Let's talk about the afternoon game, if we could. Mario, what do you think about what happened this afternoon earlier with the Texans and the Bengals?
Well, this is an exciting show. We're in the playoffs now, and we're building up some steam as a show. I want to welcome everybody that has listened, including Giussani out there. Today's game.
Doing shout-outs at the top
I gave
of the
a
show?
shout, top of the show.
We save the shout-outs for the end of the show.
No, I get it out of the way. Anyway, today's game. Well, Cincinnati didn't play well, but they didn't quit. You know, they were in it. They had a key drive at the end of the game in the fourth quarter that just didn't work out for them. I thought the turning point in the third quarter, I thought all day Marvin Lewis just did not run Ben Jarvis Green Ellis enough.
The offense was terrible all day.
I mean, they had first and 10 from the 18 of Houston, and they ran 3 pass plays and ended up getting a field goal, yes, but at that point they really needed the touchdown.
Well, fortunately, I spun my tickets, and on a couple of them I've got the Texans, so I'm still alive on my parlay tickets. Marty, did you watch the game?
I did watch the game. I think they didn't quit because they didn't never start to play. I mean,
well,
anytime you
I
have,
agree with you.
How could you have negative passing yards in the first half of a football game? That's twice as happened in playoff history, right?
But Schaub threw 29 for 38, and they were still in the game and only lost by 6. I mean,
yeah. Well, Schaub. Well, they out of the first 5 possessions they had, only 4 of them they ended up with field goals. Which they should have beaten them by 30 points.
You're right. Hell, the Giants should have beat the Redskins by 28 points that night on
minute.
December 3rd.
He's making a Giants reference in the first minute
well,
of the
because
show.
you're in the playoffs and I'm not, and I'm sick about it. I still think we're
my
playing.
Bears didn't show
my
up,
daughter's
and
like,
Smith
Dad,
got
there's no game tomorrow.
And I didn't even bring it up since but what are they called? The New Jersey Giants. I didn't say anything about those guys.
Well, again, we're coming to you from Murphy's Law on Flamingo, just east of Maryland Parkway. If you're in the neighborhood and you want to stop on by, we've got great food here, great service. And, of course, if you mention Vegas Sports Nuts, we've got a couple of complimentary cocktails for you, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And we've got some specials going on here,
I got
too.
them sitting right here. I'll hand it to them when they walk in.
Well, you drank those two.
Well,
I think it's Jameson. We've got some beautiful
right
Jameson girls that are walking around here. All right, before we start talking about too much about what's going on now, I'd like to, if we can, address what happened on what they're calling Black Monday. Even by the tumultuous standards of the end of an NFL season, this Monday, Black Monday, as annually called, stood out. Andy Reid from the Eagles, Lovie Smith from Chicago, Norv Turner from San Diego, Ken Wisenhunt, Arizona Cardinals, Pat Shurmur, Cleveland Browns, Chan Gailey, Buffalo, Romeo Crennel, the Chiefs, Mario. What do you have to say about all those guys getting axed?
Well, and then there were a couple of GMs that got axed, including Scott Pioli, who seemed like he had the Midas touch, everything he touched, but it goes to show you how good Tom Brady and Bill Belichick make you as an assistant GM there in New England, and he got axed from Kansas City. Let's look at the 3 coaches that have been in the Super Bowl. You got Kent Wisenhunt, you have Andy Reid, and you have Lovie Smith. All 3 of them appeared in one Super Bowl, and they lost their respective Super Bowls. The only horse in the barn right now at present is Andy Reid with Kansas City. I think it's a horrible decision by the Kansas City Chiefs, an organization I respect, maybe not the best run. They're on a run of luck, and I think that they made a move to give them some stability with a guy who's a seasoned veteran. But his wires, and I said this last week, I mean, if every player is evaluated for their physical abilities at the end of every year going into the next year, well, if a coach is going to work 100 hours and be as stressed as a head coach is, you have to gauge someone's mental ability and how much they have left in the tank. And he's burnt out. His wire's afraid, and he's going to be a hire that they're going to regret.
You think he's over, or you think he should be?
I think he needs 2 years off, like Bill Cowher did, like John Madden did permanently, he decided, or Dick Vermeil did before he came back to the Chiefs after coaching the Rams.
Well, speaking of coaches, I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles ended Andy Reid's 14-year tenure, drawing the curtain on a tear-stained season, began with the death of Reid's son during training camp, continued with a week-by-week watch of how the team's one-loss ledger matched up with the owner, Jeffrey Lurie's preseason edict that Reid had to do better than 8-8 to keep his job. Philadelphia ended up 4-12. Yeah. And we have to do a service to our listeners if you're in the car. Right now, the Packers are on the 1-yard line, it looks like. I think we're 3rd and goal in the second with 4 minutes left. and Green Bay is winning
that's a
7-3
big tackle.
right
That's
now.
a 4-point play right there.
Actually,
They
they're
have
on
to kick
the-
a field goal instead of a touchdown.
They're on the 1 foot line, as they would say.
Oh,
Sherlock
it's
Holmes.
The 1 foot line.
The game's
The
a foot.
game is a foot.
It is.
Did we cover that in the show, or was it just you and I talking one time?
We just probably.
That's a
Could
big
be.
defensive play there by the Minnesota Vikings.
So there's a
I
lot
found it
going on,
offensive.
and everybody's it seems to me like in kind of a pre-holiday or a post-holiday kind of a.
It's
still in
really
the fog a
unique.
little
It's
bit.
like watching the ball drop on New Year's. There's a game going on as we're talking about the game.
I know we're
So-
talking about games and there's a game going on. It's a little
Yeah,
surreal,
right.
and there, it looks like a field goal
Yeah.
just happened
Yeah,
for
it
Green
did.
Bay.
It looks
So
like
now it's 10-3 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in
Green
the
Bay
second
couldn't get in
quarter.
with it. Had
So
some-
yeah, we want to get
three
back
shots.
on the coaches. Marty, you had some opinion about it, or Mario? Let's talk about Norv Turner for a second.
Well, I said 6 weeks ago on this show, John Gruden is going to take the San Diego Charger job. And I have not a wisp of a hint from anyone that that's going to happen. I just think it's a perfect move for John Gruden at this point if he wants to come out. It's a freewheeling town, San Diego. They want to throw the ball. Gruden likes to throw the ball. They ran coaches like Marty Schottenheimer out of town. That's why I think Lovie Smith would be a horrible hire for San Diego. It's not a good fit. Lovie should go to Buffalo or Philadelphia. I see them being much better cities, much better, conservative, run-oriented programs for him to coach.
Of course, I posted up when I saw that Lovie Smith got fired that Lovie Smith, to me, and Dusty Baker from the Cubs were kind of interchangeable, that neither one of them ever showed any emotion in the game. And, coming off of the Ditka years with Coach Ditka, almost having a heart attack on the field. But anyway, in San Diego, Norv Turner, his dismissal expected almost from the day he got the job 6 years ago, was finally fired along with general manager A.J. Smith, who had held the post for almost 10 years. And there's, where he goes, it's anybody's game. So.
And Kent Wisenhut, I mean, what a goofy organization. Could you imagine coaching for the Bidwell-owned team and the carousel of GMs, no quarterback? Kent Wisenhut will end up somewhere. He got fired. It was a favor. I mean, it was
after
a
6
favor to him.
seasons, Reed, Lovie Smith, and Wisenhut had taken their teams to the Super Bowl in the past. Turner led the Chargers to the AFC Championship game. The speed with which so many top people were sent packing was breathtaking, but not surprising. Owners want to grab top candidates like Chip Kelly, University of Oregon. You know more about that than me.
He's got 3 offers, Chip Kelly does.
Yeah, he does.
Wow. Go ahead, Mark.
And let's face it, once the Cleveland Browns were bought for $2 billion, Pat Shurmur was going to go. The first thing they did was clean house with the GM at the time, Mike Holmgren. And Pat Shurmur did a good job with the Cleveland Browns this year. He had an older rookie quarterback, yes, at 27, but still a rookie quarterback. And I thought Cleveland was game, and I think Pat Shurmur deserves a break. He might be the most unkind cut of the 7 there, to be honest with you.
Well, this may not be the most active market ever for coaches. There were 10 new coaches going into the 2009 season. Several of the coaches fired Monday, especially Reed, who went to the NFC Championship game 5 times with the Eagles, has indicated he wants to coach again immediately. They're expected to find new jobs quickly. Once the coaches are in place, time quickly becomes their enemy. With Reed's firing the longest tenured coach, as you said earlier, in the NFL, Bill Belichick, whom New England hired in 2000, job security is rare, though it's taken perhaps the best quarterback in history, 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 championships to earn it.
Jonathan, your memory for statistics is absolutely astonishes me.
And you just mentioned the NFL championship games. The Eagles 1-4 in those 5 championship games. 1-4, only 1 Super Bowl appearance, and if I'm not mistaken, 3 of those championships were in Philadelphia. That is the hallmark of Andy Reid's career in 14 years. With the Eagles, and I still don't know exactly what happened in the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl against the Patriots. Either him or Donovan McNabb had a concussion. I don't know which, but they were down by 2 scores, and I have no idea what they were doing with the ball with 7 minutes to go in that game, and then again with 3 minutes to go in the game. It was like surreal. You were watching the Super Bowl, and it was just counting down the clock.
Well, again, you're listening to Vegas Sports Nuts here on K-Dawn. We're coming to you from Murphy's Law on Flamingo Road, just east of Maryland Parkway. If you're in the neighborhood, please stop by. We've got plenty more football to talk about with the playoffs ahead of us. And, here's my top story. With the ink hardly dry on the New York Jets' dreadful season, Coach Rex Ryan fled to the Bahamas, only to be photographed lounging poolside with an interesting tattoo on his bicep. His wife, Michelle, wearing a Jets jersey with the number 6 of quarterback Mark Sanchez, and nothing else.
And I believe she was on her knees.
I don't know. But you're listening to Vegas Sports Nuts. We'll be right back after this commercial. commercial message. Stay right where you are. Scott, we're back at Murphy's Law on Flamingo, just east of Maryland Parkway, asking you the question, hey, what's it to you? Bobby T in the house will be with us when he's good and ready. Mario, let's get back to the morning game and what happened with the Bengals.
Yeah, well, Bengals, again, they had one of the better pick sixes you're going to see. I mean, that was just a fine play right on the sideline there. It was a good hands catch, fingertip catch, kept his balance and waltzed in. And
the
suddenly,
only thing they did the whole game was
they were up 7-6. But how about we mention a couple of Houston Texans? The running back, Arian Foster, first running back in NFL history to rush for 100-plus yards in his first 3 playoff games. The guy's a stud. He reminds, actually, the guys that announced the game today, too, as a fan, I like listening to Mike Mayock and Dan Hicks. Mayock knows football.
With the hot licks.
He knows his football, Mike Mayock. He's a well-schooled scout. He talks football, and Dan Hicks is a great play-by-play guy. If you don't know who Dan Hicks is, he did the Summer Olympics, the swimming, and he's superb, and he does so many things for NBC. The guy is just great. He doesn't make himself bigger than the game, kind of like a Dick Enberg type. I just enjoy listening to him, and I like Mayock's takes on a lot of things. In fact, Hicks challenged him on a player that it was a linebacker, number 58 of the Bengals, and he said he's not draftable. And the guy ended up having a very fine rookie season this year. And he just had a really matter-of-fact explanation about it. He says, you know what he wasn't doing in college, he's doing now, and I'm gonna give it to the coaches. And he gave a great explanation. I want to give it to the defensive coordinator, the linebacker coach. So it was a good answer. He didn't get sheepish about being wrong. You know, you're wrong every now and again.
That challenge by the Texans, that when they thought it was the forward pass, and and it was after the fact, and they went to commercial, came back, and what was the whole premise of that?
The reason is the ball never changed how it articulated with the hand. So though his arm was hit, had the ball moved and then he threw it forward, it would have been a fumble. But he had a grip of the ball. So though it looked like a funny throw, the ball never left his fingers the way it started.
But had they won, what would have been the outcome?
What do you mean had they
Then
won?
they would have won. That
Oh, no, then they would have called it a Houston Texans
But it was
recovery.
like 20 minutes later when they finally got
Well, that's why you play anyhow through the whistle. In this crazy, instant replay NFL, you just go after every loose ball on the field.
I mean, who ended up with the ball? If they would have won, who would have had it?
The Texans ended up falling on it.
They did fall on it?
Yes, they did.
Then it was blown dead.
But you could review the fumble possession and not any advance of that fumble.
So would they have the reenactment? Or would they have
Yeah, and it's kind of like a reenactment because the whistle blow. Yeah, it's it's.
Yeah, it was I was like, what's going to happen if they win? I mean, what is he?
Well, if they would have won, the Texans would have gotten the ball because they fell on the ball, though it was after the whistle.
If Bengals would have scored a field goal, I would have covered my bet.
Yeah, and if Columbus was a
I
woman,
would have felt a lot better than I do right now.
How about we talk about 1913 going well under the over-under? 1913 is only 32 points.
I picked the unders on all these games, but I just want to give kudos to a former Chicago Bear, Ron Rivera. I think he was the first coach to return as coach of the Carolina Panthers next season. Panthers spokesman Charlie Dayton, this is according to Associated Press, said Rivera met with owner Jerry Richardson Saturday morning, was informed he'll return for a third season. Rivera's had two years on his current contract. Rivera won a Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears in 1985 as a linebacker, broke into the coaching ranks shortly after his 9-year NFL career ended, first serving as an understudy to Dave Wannstedt in what we call from Chicago the Wani years. Ron Chico Rivera quickly climbed the coaching ladder, was defensive coordinator in Chicago, San Diego, before landing his first head coaching position in Carolina in 2011 after interviewing with 9 different teams. Ron Rivera has the respect of the guys in the locker room because he's played the game. He treats guys the right way. Congratulations to our friend Ron Rivera.
Congratulations, he's rehired, but I think it was still a dubious hire considering how awful the San Diego Chargers were on defense under his tenure. That's all I'll say about that.
John, can you repeat that, please?
I can repeat that Rex Ryan's wife's got a tattoo of Mark Sanchez.
While on the subject of that,
that's the funniest story that I think I found in the paper.
Well, I think a segue to that story is exactly how bad of a GM is Mike Tannenbaum. Rex Ryan had the perfect fall guy, his GM, and You know, we've made a laundry list of the mistakes he made, picking up old, washed-up veterans like LaDainian Tomlinson and Brett Favre, and then just how he handled the media and all the things he did along the way. Revis totally manipulated him on TV. They did a show about it in terms of how he negotiated his contract. So Tannenbaum needed to go, and the Jets had their fall guy, and Ryan was saved.
If I can bring up another statistic that I think that you might like, Mario, is the underdogs, the hot dogs. Underdog bettors got the best of it during the 256 regular season games. According to Dave Tooley of ViewFromVegas.com, the dogs covered 131 game favorites. Favorites covered 117. There were 7-point spread pushes and 1 pick'em game with no favorite. Home dogs, which started so strong, barely top 500. At 44, 42, and 2 against the spread.
And I'll bet you, being that I do love the money line, how many of those 131 were won outright, Jonathan?
There's a touchdown by the Packers right there.
This is going to be very difficult for the Vikings. We're going to get to this. I mean, we need to talk about the game that's already almost halftime. It's kind of a funny show. But
having a game going while we're talking.
Yes.
Normally the next day.
Let's just talk about one thing from last week. I want to ask the Bear fan, the producer, Jonathan. I want to ask you, what was it like? There I was at the
Wani years?
the Wachstetter house last week, and I'm watching Dean, my dear friend, sommelier at the Top of the World restaurant, and I'm watching him needing to cheer on the Packers to beat the Vikings so the Bears can go to the playoffs. And Rob was there. Rob's in the audience tonight. And they couldn't even, there was a playoff berth at stake, and the Bear fan couldn't even root for the Packers. I mean, Dean would have his outburst like, Clay Matthews, get a haircut, make a tackle, damn it.
Well, it's like Cubs and Sox games.
It's like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Rooting for the Sox.
Absolutely.
And Bears fans certainly have a hard time rooting for the Packers. I bet on them on some of my tickets tonight for the Packers. It's a great team, and Aaron Rodgers, and they deserve whatever they're playing in Lambeau. What a great history Lambeau Field has. So I'm just glad that we're enjoying this, and hope that we're going to have a great series tomorrow. We've got a lot more football to go with.
And speaking of the Redskins, what were you saying, Mario?
The Redskins are playing Seattle tomorrow, and the Giants.
That was a smooth segue,
yes,
Marty. And speaking,
I must say though, Marty, I did root like heck for your Redskins last week because, as I said on this show, I would have been sick to my stomach had the Cowboys somehow won the NFC East, and they didn't. Tony Romo did the predictable thing in the last drive of the fourth quarter, but enough's been said about that on ESPN and NFL Network. I don't need to throw gasoline on a fire, but
you wouldn't want to do that.
No, I wouldn't want to do that. And Garrett won just enough games, and Romo did too, that they're stuck with both of them next year.
Well, let's talk about Seahawks and Redskins, Mario. What do you? I mean,
well, do you want to talk about the game as it's going before we're talking about a final score? Right now, Minnesota.
Up the Redskins. I don't know if you want to talk about Seattle.
All right.
Minus 2.5, and over and under is 45.5. It's tomorrow, 1:30. That's the 1:30 game. We could talk about it now, or we can wait.
We could talk about it now. Go ahead, Marty. I'm going to let you go first. It's the
Marty,
Redskins.
what do you think about your Redskins?
I think we should talk about it in the third segment of the show.
RG3.
There's a flag already up on the RG3. He's going to win. I mean, it's not much to talk about. He's going to win. He's going to score more points than the other guys, and that'll be it. But we can get deep about it later if you like.
Actually, there's a bunch of things to talk about in this game, so let's just dive into the deep end of the pool because we're teasing our audience here. You have two teams that have won 7 of their last 8. You have 2 rookie quarterbacks that both threw for 3,200 yards, and you have 2 feature running backs that ran for 1,600 yards this year. It's unique in that both teams' leading receivers, Rice and Garcon, are only 50 and 44 receptions respectively. That is incredibly low for team leaders. So you got teams that, you don't know how they're going to win. They're going to use every option possible to win, including defense and special teams.
I think that's because they're balanced. I mean, they don't just throw like Marino did in his time. They don't just. I mean, you don't never know what RG3 is going to throw at you. He's going to throw. He's going to run. He's going to score. He's going to do. Look at his stats. I mean, it's just amazing that they can do all of those things as long as he can stay healthy. They'll be doing it for a long time.
Well, I really think it's going to be the best game of the weekend.
It could be.
Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks hit the road to face Griffin and the Washington Redskins. Wilson put up outstanding passing numbers, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and Griffin's 20 TDs, 5 interceptions were a little better. The old school handicapping handybook would say to bet against the rookie quarterback making his first playoff start on the road, but this is the new school NFL.
And they're both rookies.
And for those who prefer the home dogs, taking +3 with RG3, hard to resist.
Well, I got to agree with you. Seattle went from -1 to -3.
Washington
Russell
could be the
Wilson-
best money line bet in the history of the whole year.
In the history of the NFL, I'm
the
sure, coming from you, that you
Well,
think
at
the
least the year,
Redskins
yeah.
are the greatest money line bet
Well,
ever.
with 2.5, it's 2.5 points. Why not? Why couldn't it be? You know they're going to win. They got to win
Look,
by at least 2.5.
Neither of these guys throw interceptions either. Russell Wilson, last 8 games, last half of the season, 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and RG3 was only behind Tom Brady for 1.3 interception percent
Just a
per
reminder,
attempt.
Yeah, with the Green Bay Viking game, Green Bay's up 17-3.
There's
20
Adrian
seconds
Peterson
left
getting a
in
big
the
first
second
down, but
quarter.
well, not a big first
so
down.
we've
They're
got
gonna
plenty
run the
to talk
clock
about.
out.
We're coming to you live from Murphy's Law in Flamingo Road, just east of Maryland Parkway. And you're invited to come on down, have a couple of complimentary cocktails on us. And you've got free beer Fridays, don't you, Mark?
We do have free beer Fridays. Every Friday from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock here at Murphy's Law. If you just come in and tell them you want to drink beer,
4 o'clock to 8 o'clock,
4
free
o'clock,
beer?
4 hours.
Any
believe
kind
it
of
or
beer?
not. Well, actually, there's a new beer chosen every week. But you get free beer. And it's...
I love this Blue Moon. What do I have to do to get a Blue Moon? Where's my scotch?
You have to sing a song. Don't tell me you're going to sing Blue Moon, right? So, yeah,
You
free
know,
beer
if
Fridays.
you're
here
at
Murphy's
home
Law.
or if you're going home and you want to look at this craziness online, you can go to VegasSportsNuts.com or go to YouTube and look at Vegas Sports Nuts, and you'll see what we're doing over here as well. And there's plenty still going on. Over at the LVH, there's Comedy After Dark featuring Grandma Lee starts this week. Grandma Lee's been making people laugh all around the country. You may have seen her on America's Got Talent. She starts January 9th through February 4th, 10 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at the LVH box office or at the LVH.com. Also, the Whispers are coming to the LVH Hotel and Casino on January 19th, and a Bruce Springsteen tribute on January 26th, all at the LVH Hotel and Casino.
Hey,
Mario,
Jonathan, look who just walked in. Dr. Scott Brown from Comfort Care Dental.
I love the segues that Marty's doing tonight. I'm trying to get through my copy here, and Marty just says, "Oh yeah, Comfort Care."
Comfort Care Dental.
Here's what a New Year's resolution: if you want to have better teeth and, like me, get on a regimented dental hygiene program.
I've heard that.
I am. Can you say that?
Why?
Regimented
you just said it.
dental hygiene program.
And he's the only
Say
guy.
it. Regimented
dental hygiene program.
Then you want to go see Comfort Care Dr. Scott Brown, and he's the guy right on, is it 7th Street? 7th Street just off of Charleston.
Only dentist I know that's always not so looking so down at the mouth.
Well, it's that nitrous oxide.
You know it.
I'm there. Cheers to
Cheers
you.
to Dr.
Happy
Brown.
holidays.
2 minutes.
Yep.
2 minutes.
Jack Daniels, all numbers. Mario, let's get back to what's going on. It's halftime here in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay 17-3. Let's talk about what's going on tomorrow.
Well, let's talk about this game right now. How's that?
Well, you could.
Because
I'm
I
not
don't
able
think
to
it's
watch
cold
'cause
enough.
I'm talking to you guys.
I felt that when they first said it was going to be wind chills around 0, I says, you know what, that might be a bit of a disadvantage to the Packers because the Vikings, as we know, can run the ball. Adrian Peterson, 409 yards just in the month of December in the 2 games against the Packers. The Giants knocked the Packers out in Lambeau in 07 and 11 by running the ball. But it's not that bad tonight. There's no stiff wind, and it's only about 28 degrees. So what I thought would be a disadvantage for a team that likes to throw the ball like the Packers is not necessarily so. And the last play of the half there, it was a seemingly meaningless play, but the quarterback, Webb, threw about as poor a 10-yard
1 minute.
throw you're ever going to see in the
Mario,
NFL.
that game's going to end up 35 points.
I know. It's going to get ugly. The best thing they can
Packers
do
gonna win
is
by
just,
35.
I would say, just blitz Rodgers, see if they can't cause a turnover and just feed the ball to AP and see what happens. Because maybe run some option with this kid that can run a 4-4 from the quarterback position. So we'll see what happens.
We're going to be back in a few minutes after the news. And if you're thinking about getting a maximum rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, we want to recommend Max Pawn over at Sahara and Jones, world famous Max Pawn. Watches, designer handbags, guitars. If you're looking for some rock and roll equipment, check out world famous Max Pawn on Sahara and Jones. We'll be right back after the news. Stay right where you are here at Vegas Sports Nuts at Murphy's Law. At Murphy's Law on Flamingo Road, just east of Maryland Parkway. We're talking NFL. We got a game going on. We've had a game earlier today. With us in the studio, Bobby D, the DENIRO guy. What's going on?
Hey, Johnny, how you guys doing? Having a good time tonight.
Good, Bobby. Good, Bobby.
All right.
So what's the news? We got
Are
a.
you talking to me?
No, hold on, relax.
I just got some news, Bob. Did you hear this? The oldest woman in the world died today. She was 114. Did you hear about that?
I did nothing. I had
You
nothing
had
to do with that.
nothing to do with
I swear to God.
I had to run that by you.
No, I was at home the whole day. I got witnesses.
That was a record. She
There
was.
shouldn't be any witnesses, but I think I got a couple.
It's kind of like the
Jehovah's
first
Witness.
half of the Cincinnati game. Anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead.
something like that. You know, really upset me. I'm a little pissed off because,
Again?
well, no. I always play a 5-teamer. There's only 4 teams this weekend. This really sucks.
Well,
It's
you
all
can
right,
play the
though.
over and unders and make it into.
No. I want teams. I want this over and under crap. I can never pick those.
I thought it was going to be parlays. I was looking for parlays that showed how many field goals and how many fumbles and how many sacks. I couldn't find any of those. I don't know if they're out there.
I didn't see much. Wait a minute. They get the
Those
paper.
proposition bets, those things, you crazy ones?
Yeah, the propositionals, but
I don't
I
have
wanted
the
them on a
paper.
parlay, and I couldn't
Tell you,
find
Bobby, watching the games as we're talking about, it's like watching guys get whacked that you put contracts on.
Absolutely. You know,
It's-
hey, it happens. You know, it's like life imitates art. Let me tell you something. We're talking
It
about. Were we
happens.
talking about negative passing yards earlier?
Yeah, negative.
Yes.
Yes.
Guess
I was
what?
negative.
Minnesota's on -2 right now for the
Yes.
first half.
positive.
I know.
Is
Of
that
this
right?
game, yeah, just
What
showed
does
a little
that
bit.
mean? What does that mean?
-2 passing
How
yards.
could you be -2?
Sacks.
You cannot
Sacks
be-
and negative yards.
That
Let me
drive
ask
the
you a
No,
question.
passing yards.
Let me
Passing
ask
yards.
you a question.
Passing over.
Passing behind
Because you're one about keeping
Yes.
information hidden.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Vikings did not know their quarterback was going to go till 4:30 Eastern today, or do you think they knew on Thursday he couldn't go? And if they knew then, how could this quarterback look like he's totally not ready for the game? You
All right.
tell me.
Let me tell you a little something. What's the spread on this? -7.5.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
till that happened. It's probably
They
minus
knew
14 now.
something's going on. Now let me take you back a couple of decades. There was a time in this business. Probably still happens.
Which business?
The betting, the football, all this,
Oh.
all the games,
Gambling.
all the sports.
Gaming.
You have to bring that word up. You had to bring that word up.
Gaming. Are you talking to me?
Let me tell you something. Now you're a little out of order. You gotta
Bobby
relax.
D.
They knew what was going on. Somebody made a call. They say, get the guy out of there. His elbow is fine. His arm is fine. They're talking about his tricep being all busted up. I seen him after the game. He was throwing a ball. Who are they kidding?
Which guy?
Christian Ponder.
Pond, yeah. Pond was throwing a ball. He was fine. They pulled it out because somebody says, hey, got a little something for you, a little package.
Oh,
The
boy.
package comes in, player goes out, nobody knows a thing.
Conspiracy theory here.
Happens every time.
I actually watched Ponder throw the ball. He didn't look like he was throwing the ball with much ease at all.
But how long did they have
Look
to ponder
at
that
Webb.
decision?
I know. Would they have been better with him instead of Webb?
Yes.
Couldn't have been worse.
And more importantly, what do you think of this Gangster Squad movie with Sean Penn?
Well, I got an issue with Sean Penn because I do not like the prosthetic on his face. It made his nose look all weird. So it's not him. It's not natural.
Have you seen the previews?
Yeah, I saw all the trailers. I saw all that stuff. I was on the film. I was giving them help on that whole thing.
Well, what's your favorite gangster movie of all time?
I don't like gangster movies.
Okay,
I'm
what's your
just
favorite-
breaking your balls.
What's your favorite silent movie?
I don't even like those. You can't hear them. No, I like Goodfellas. For some reason, it was a very good film. I like
some
that a lot.
reason.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I like that movie
All
a
right,
lot.
let's get back to football.
Let's get back to
What the
football.
hell you got? What's
I
going
got
on?
picks.
I hope so.
All right, I got 12-teamer. No, I'm kidding.
How could you have a 12-team? What do you got?
This week's picks, well,
Women's
we got
volleyball.
one out of the way, the Texans, -4.
Okay,
that was
you
good.
had the Texans?
What, are you kidding me? At home?
All right.
Right now, they're desperate. Could have been ugly, though, but they did
Well, they're all
fine.
desperate.
They barely covered.
Not shy, but very
Barely
embarrassed.
covered, and the Bengals were driving.
Absolutely.
And they took a
We
U-turn.
got the Packers -5.5, which, you know what?
Yeah.
Give
I
them
think they're good.
25.5.
Yeah, that
No,
looks-
minus 7.7.5. -7.5, yeah. They should have been -25. Okay, because it's going to be a blowout. I think you mentioned that earlier, Marty.
Yes, it will. It's going to be terrible.
Tomorrow we're taking the Colts plus 7 points. Got a good feeling about the Colts. His name isn't Luck for nothing.
That's true. Well, you know, the guy's name, the guy that couldn't decide whether to put into the game today was a ponder. How long did they have to ponder that before they put him in or not?
Who told you to speak when I'm talking over here?
I was trying to help
What's the
you.
matter with you?
I'm trying to
What's the matter with you, Marty?
Martini.
I'm trying to
Where's
upgrade
your
you.
cocktail? Where's
Right
your
here.
cocktail here at Murphy's Law?
Somebody give
Flamingo.
Marty another one. And only,
Murphy's Law, Flamingo, just
and
east of
only put
Maryland
the
Parkway.
soda like 1 inch out of
Did
a
we
whole
mention
8-inch
we're on-
glass. So
It's
it's
my
got to be
third
booze.
double.
Maryland Parkway here at Murphy's Law.
Yeah, over here, Murphy's Law. Yeah.
Colts, if I may interject just one thing.
Interject
But
what?
You're talking about the Colts now.
Yeah, go ahead.
They've appeared to do it with smoke and mirrors, according to Matt Yeoman. Smoke and mirrors. A motivational boost from Coach Chuck
Pagano.
Pagano.
All season.
Bless
That's
you.
what their luck is due to run out.
Jewish
He's
guy
saying-
can't pronounce
Jews.
Italian names.
Pagano. It's not Paganstein.
Then you would know how to pronounce it.
18 interceptions, solid numbers for rookie. Athletic ability, 255 yards rushing, also makes him dangerous. Mobility aspect is what sets this crop of first-year quarterbacks apart. Ravens are a hard team to love. Joe Flacco is a very difficult quarterback to like. What Baltimore does to get its own.
I don't like
to say about all that.
I don't like Indianapolis this week.
Well, let's let Bobby.
Not even with the points?
No.
They've had a hell of a run.
I don't either.
I think it comes to a grinding halt. Luck is not the same quarterback outdoors. He has 17 turnovers in his 8 road games alone, no less the ones outdoors.
You got a point.
Yes, he has 7 game-winning drives, and he threw for 4,374 yards, setting a record and all that. But Ray Lewis is back. Suggs is healthier. Halote Nata was held out of Week 17. He's healthy.
I hope Indianapolis doesn't leave their lunch on the bench of the Ravens because they're going to eat their lunch.
They're just too new. You know, the 36 of the 53 players on the Colts team were not on the Colts team last year. 36 of 53.
Really?
It all came together, and it's a great story, but I think it comes crashing down like Cinderella's slipper.
I don't think they need to win tomorrow, but if they lose by 4 or 5, I'm fine. I think there's a Cinderella story for the line. For the spread. Cinderella story for the spread, absolutely. I'm not giving them the win. I just want the spread.
Well, I'll tell you what might work in your favor. You have a guy who's kicked 45 postseason field goals,
Yes.
the most in NFL history, and he is only behind Jerry Rice in terms of games appeared. He's going to be in his 25th postseason game. Jerry Rice has the record with 29.
Who's Jerry Rice?
Who's Jerry Rice? Adam Vinatieri. I'll tell you what. Backdoor cover could happen if he gets three field goals there. Who knows? But I don't know. I just see Baltimore getting it together and making a surge. And Ray Lewis's retirement speech, I think, was incredibly well timed. Whether or not it was a ploy, it's fine. You know what's really interesting about this game, Bobby?
What?
Chuck Pagano was the defensive coordinator for Baltimore last year.
Okay.
Jim Caldwell, who's the offensive coordinator of Baltimore now, was the head coach of the Colts last year. And Bruce Arians was with the Steelers. So these 3 coaches who have formed sort of the recent news for both of these teams, all due respect to John Harbaugh, were somewhere else last year amongst, and 2 of them were on the opposite sides of the sidelines among these 2 teams.
Well, this should be very interesting to see this game.
It's kind of like the Colombo family playing for the Gambinos. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You never do that.
On the other sideline.
So, Bobby, what do you like?
And the last one, we're going to take the Seahawks. For some reason, I like the minus of 2.5. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, especially since I'm a big Redskin fan. Oh, buddy. But okay, whatever you say.
And I like RG3. I do.
Yep.
This kid's good, but something tells me they're going to break tomorrow.
I think the Seahawks are going to win second place in that game, and the Redskins are going to win first.
Well, do you know if he's wearing his knee brace tomorrow? Because he showed no mobility like he's used to with the knee brace on.
Waji?
RG3.
The good thing about
He's
watching
supposed
is
to be wearing the brace.
even if RG3 gets tired, Cousins can back him up just as well.
Well, just as well as a convenient term. I don't know if
you saw him play. Well, you saw him play. At
he had that great one come from behind victory. You would be on the sidelines, and I'd be playing tomorrow if Cousins didn't win that one game. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
beyond
remember
it, right?
like that. Yeah,
I haven't brought it up in 10 minutes.
You've got
that
it
the
out of your
Giants aren't
system. I
playing
see
tomorrow.
that now.
Yeah, it's all out of my system.
Yeah, that kind of blows.
Tom Coughlin has still been in his office. He's prepared. He's in shock that he's not at least playing a playoff game, defending his Super Bowl title again.
Well, that's huge for him. Very big upset.
Well, he had a chance to be
upset.
the only Giant coach to ever win 3 titles. And, of course, he's got to do it another year now. And he's the oldest coach in the league. So you lose, that window gets narrower and narrower.
Maybe they should hire that Papa John's guy to be the head coach next year.
Yeah. Maybe
He does enough crap on TV during the NFL. Jesus.
Yeah, but he only does it with the Broncos guys.
At the
I mean, Peyton Manning.
At the start of the third quarter,
Play against his brother.
It's Green Bay 17, Minnesota 3. Bobby, what are your parlays? What do you got in front of you there? What?
I kind of mixed it up a little bit. I put a 4-team of the Texans, Packers, Colts, and the Seahawks. I didn't put big money because, I'm very, very leery about the postseason, especially wild card weekend. But I got a $10 to win 107, so that's not bad. That was just for fun. The other one I took was the long shots. I took all the dogs. We got, but I only did 3 of them because I had a feeling the Texans were not going to fall in play. I knew they were not going to lose. So I just put the Vikings, the Colts, and the Redskins on a one card for, I put $5 get you $182.
Those money line bets were
That's
crazy.
lunch money.
Well, I did a four team, all the 4 underdogs for those
did
teams,
too, and
that was
the Bengals
pays
didn't
100.
cover.
Pays
Yeah, but you already
$10.
lost.
I know. And so have you. Since
No, I have not. I
Money
put
line paid
3.
100
Have you seen Minnesota score up there? You've already lost.
Jonathan, what was the line you said if you bet
I got
all 4
almost a half an
underdogs
hour
this
left.
week?
It was
I mean, not
100 to
100 to 1.
100 to
Not the-
1.
$1,000 on 10
But you would have ripped the
Money
ticket up already because of the Bengals.
Well, yeah.
But still,
You want to look at the ticket just to say, look how much you paid.
line. I
Or
took
what
the
it paid.
Bengals
$1,000 on
and
10.
the points,
Yeah, I got it
and the
right.
rest of them on money line, and I lost. Well, obviously. So tomorrow, Colts, Ravens, 46.5. Seahawks, Redskins, 45.5. Mario? What do you
yeah,
think
let's talk
this?
about the over on this because I did the math on all the games, and the Cincinnati-Houston game was a 2-point variance. Minnesota-Green Bay 1. Right on the Indy-Baltimore game and right on the Seattle-Washington game. So basically what we've been talking about all year with the points against versus the points scored for both teams, and then you average it out and add it back up, was the line this week. And there was no more than a 2-point variance. Although obviously the Cincinnati-Houston game at 32 total was a heck of an under.
Well, we're at Murphy's Law on Flamingo, just east of Maryland Parkway, Vegas Sports Nest. Check us out online. We've got to take another.
Look who just got sacked.
It's 17-3 on Packers. And if you're looking for a good deal at the end of the year or the beginning of the year now, gold, silver, and diamonds, check out world-famous Max Pawn on Sahara and Jones. This is Jonathan Scott. We'll be right back after this commercial message.
Hey, this
Welcome.
is Marty Martini sitting here watching this game. What an incredible game we got.
Well, that's the
Minnesota
first
3,
one, huh?
Green
Jonathan
Bay
Scott,
17.
welcome to Vegas Sports Nuts at Murphy's Law in Flamingo, just east of Maryland Parkway. So it's still 17-3 in the third quarter. 11:25 left on the bill. In the house, of course, Dr. Scott Brown from Comfort Care. If you're looking for good dentistry, Comfort Care on Charleston and 7th Street. And Mario, let's talk again about what's going on tomorrow and what the ramifications are. We've got Colts, Ravens, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Ravens are favored by 6.5. Let's get right down to it. What's going to happen here? What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to go after the rookie, and I think that with the exception of a yeoman's job by the offensive line, I think he's going to see more dirt and grass than he has seen in a long time. This is outdoors on grass, and we alluded to this. Luck is a completely different dome turf quarterback so far this year. And I see the Ravens with the Lewis retirement. I think John Harbaugh is steady. I think that last-second drop.
How about a round
What
of
the
applause for
heck
the servers
Yeah,
here
I
at
think.
Murphy's Law?
Yeah, here we go. I think one of the trays just went.
Marinara sauce just wound up on the floor.
I think that
Marinara
last
in an Irish
second.
bar?
I think that last second drop against the Patriots.
That drop?
With the Super Bowl right in front of them. It was a wonderful play by the defensive back to do so, but that stings, and they have a lot of motivation. And I think Ray Rice is going to have a monster game, and I just see them taking care of business. I think they're going to play much better than they have. They've lost 4 of their last 5 going into the playoffs, as we know, but I think that's going to change tomorrow, and I think it's going to be a solid underplay. But I see them still covering, and it's still going under.
I think that Ray Lewis announced his retirement so to motivate his team to do better than they've been doing.
No question.
I think that they'll do well. I think they've got all their starters. They're in great health. I think they'll do extremely well with against the rookie. And, and he is going to see a lot of dirt. He's going to get sacked a lot. It's going to be really, really – I mean, and I don't know that Ray Lewis next year won't change his mind. It happened with Brett Favre and a few other folks. But I know that he announced it now for a reason, because the next 3 games could be the last 3 games he ever plays.
Tomorrow could be the last game he plays. No, he is going to retire. To me, his persona, since the alleged incident in 2000 and all that, I think he wants to leave part ways cleanly with the NFL. He's an unbelievable professional football player, one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time. Up there with the very best, Dick Butkus, Joe Schmidt, some of the great ones.
Some of the Redskins.
Yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, some of the Redskins.
I
I'm
had
trying
to
to.
say that, Mike.
Actually, you do have London Fletcher in the lineup. You know how I feel about him.
17 years, I think.
London Fletcher is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, he started when Moby Dick was a minnow. He's been around.
Well, he's went to the Super Bowl with the Rams when Jones made that tackle to preserve the win at the 1 against the Titans. So, he's a Super Bowl winner.
They have a past life regression.
And what happened?
This happens to me
What
quite
did
often.
you do? You have more lives
All
than
of
a
a
cat,
sudden, I
Bobby.
wasn't here. I had an out-of-body experience for a second.
I thought I was over the wall looking at you guys.
I thought I was at the mob experience with you. What'd you do New Year's Eve?
I was at the Mob Museum. I had to host a big party over there for one of the hotels. They rented the whole place out. So I got a bunch of mob guys together. We went over there and we scared the hell out of people.
You know what I love the best? I love how people throw you out of places.
Throw me out. They invite me to places. What are you talking
Yeah, but then
about?
you get there. I hate the idiots that just say you can't come in. That floors me when you tell me these places that just like, really, you're Robert De Niro. You know what I'm talking
Well, that's
about.
because they get in this whole commotion about, you're going to cause too much attention. It'll be distracting. Oh, do me a favor. Let me worry about it. I'll take care of it. Get out of the way. I'm coming in. It happens a lot.
One of the funniest guys here in town. If you get a chance on your computer, go to, is it the De Niro?
No, just DeNiroGuy.com.
DeNiroGuy.com.
Yeah.
Your car's being featured on, what's the name of the show?
The show's called Counting Cars. They're redoing the whole thing. It's going to look just like Bobby's did in the movie Casino.
And you've got an appearance coming up. Rack and Roll is coming back.
Rack and Roll opens up on February 1 at the D Hotel. So we're in the room. I'm headlining into that room at the 10:30 spot.
What a wonderful. How about a round of applause for Bobby D?
Yeah, Bobby D.
Every week, Bobby's coming around,
Yeah.
talks about his football choices. I don't know that you're winning that much this year.
Yeah,
No,
see,
I did good. I'm like over 60%.
60. How about what percent are you at, Mario?
I would say I was about 66% towards the end of the year.
I would say that 47.8% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
I knew Marty was
That's
going to
what I
come
would
back
say.
with
He was going to go with that
Yeah.
statistic.
Well, Didn't you know that?
Parade this guy.
Didn't you know that was coming?
Cupcakes just for just.
What are you
if you're
doing,
looking to
Marty?
gain weight.
You owe me some cupcakes. I want
Your
them now.
resolution
Hey,
is
I want
to
them
gain
now.
weight.
I was going to give you
wanna
cupcakes until you
gain
bet on
weight this
Seattle.
year.
I can't believe you bet on Seattle.
Listen to me.
Yes.
He doesn't. What he wants.
From now on, I want an equal amount of blueberries in each cupcake.
We should have a De Niro cupcake at Gigi's
You
Cupcake.
should with the blueberries in it. Call it
Flamingo
Bobby
and Maryland
D's.
Parkway. If
Just
you're
call
in
it
that
Bobby
neighborhood,
D's.
you've got to try.
We go to the
Gigi's
one down
Cupcake.
at the
Yeah,
Plaza.
Gigi's Cupcakes, Maryland and Flamingo.
Well, also in the house tonight, we've got Mike Austin from Wild Card Media, and we also have Somewhere Sunny Cools is here, and Crystal's pointing to Dr. Scott Brown from Comfort Care. So we've got lots going on. Mario, let's wrap it up. Let's see what you've got to say.
Well,
The
I
whole
want to talk
picture.
about next week's game that's in the bank.
All right,
We
go ahead.
got the Houston Texans needing to go now to New England. And who said 3 weeks ago that if Houston doesn't take care of business, where they'd be playing? And that is what happened. I feel like Karnak, Johnny Carson. I held it up,
Tippity-doo.
and there it happened.
What's the answer?
Well, the answer is they now have to play a team that absolutely whitewashed them 4 weeks ago, and they're going on the road. Okay, here we go. Ready? Dome team on the road. It's not grass. It is turf, but it's cold and it's January. The percent of wins is less than probably 7-8% in those circumstances. It's going to be a yeoman circumstance there, and I think that the Patriots are rested. They're getting Gronkowski back. It's going to be more healed. Give Belichick 2 weeks to prepare for anybody.
What do you think the spread's going to be, Mario?
Okay, that's a legitimate question.
Thank you.
If it's 3 for home field advantage, I think the Patriots, considering how badly they beat them 4 weeks ago, you could still be looking at almost a 10-point spread.
Wow, that'd be amazing. I think the Patriots are going to, I don't know if they'll cover, but I think they're going to win. Because Houston cost me money today. They cost me money 3 weeks ago.
So you're going to root against them next week if they cost you
Absolutely.
money today?
Today and 3 weeks ago. It cost me 4 parlays 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because they didn't show
Tom
up.
Brady, I think, has consistently gone over on the spread more
Well,
than any other
okay, the
quarterback.
Packers just scored, so
There's
let's
a
talk about
touchdown.
next week's game at this
Let's
point.
talk about a touchdown for Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay just scored.
In the third
So this
quarter.
game is over.
Not
and,
over.
Well, it's
Not
over. Oh, it's
Nobody
over.
says it's over. till we say
24-3
it's
with
over.
Webb. He
Let's
never
have
threw a
toga
pass this
party
year.
Here at Murphy's Law.
Well, the over's 46.
Toga.
Well-
Megan, are you in for toga party? Yeah.
Toga.
Megan's in.
How
Check us out
about
online
we talk
again
about
at Murphy's Law or at VegasSportsNuts.com. Mario, go ahead. What do you
Well,
want
the
to talk about?
Packers look like they're going to win this game, which means I believe that they would play the San Francisco 49ers, would they not? And the Atlanta Falcons are going to play the winner of the Seattle-Washington game tomorrow.
Washington.
So you talk about a circumstance where a guy excels, Aaron Rodgers in a dome going into Atlanta. I don't think that's going to be so pretty. I'm sorry. I got the games mixed up momentarily there. They played a 49. I had it right the first time.
Mario, you brought your friend Rob in. Let's hear.
Rob's here from last week from Dean Walkstetter's house. Rob, what do you
Rob.
think? And tell me what it's like not to be in the playoffs, because I feel your pain.
Let's see. Starting off 7-1, feeling good. I had plenty of friends saying, "Hey, you're gonna be 10-6." I had 7-1. No way we're going 10-6, and it was just Cutler goes down, Urlacher's out. There's no leadership in the locker room.
There's
I think
another
that's why
Chicago
they're
fan
talking
over
about
there.
my Bears.
Oh, yeah,
Why
he's
are
a
you talking
Bears
about
fan.
my Bears like that?
Yeah,
We've got to
my
bring
Bears
back
too.
Ditka. I start the motion right now. We've got to bring back Coach Mike Ditka to the Chicago Bears.
I
Stop
I
looking for
agree.
me,
Vote for
Coach.
Mike Ditka.
Coach Mike Ditka.
Stop the insanity.
Second
Bring him
has
back.
to go to Bill Cowher. If we
I
get
actually-
Bill Cowher back, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I actually do think the city of Chicago needs a passionate, hot-tempered coach. They do.
too.
George Hallis, Mike Ditka. I mean, look at the lineage there. And then Lovie Smith, the docile
personality.
guy. No
Even Dusty
personality.
Baker. Ozzie got my
Same as
Sox
Dusty
World
Baker.
Series.
And by the way, if you
Yeah.
guys are listening somewhere in your car or wherever, if you want to send us an email, it's news1lasvegas@gmail.com. News1lasvegas@gmail.com. So if you got something to say and you want to be here next week, Murphy's Lawn Flamingo, just east of Maryland Parkway, where we've got free beer Fridays with Marty Martini
Yes, we do.
and lots of games coming up.
Free beer from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock every Friday here at Murphy's Law.
I love that copy. So, Rob, who's your favorite team?
My favorite team is the Bears.
The
and my
Chicago
Bears, it was quite a dynamic. Mario talked about it a little bit earlier, the dynamic of being a Bears fan and rooting for the arch rival.
Well, since you won
Packers.
last week, that means that knocked out the Giants, didn't it?
Well, they won, but they
did.
didn't
Yeah,
cover.
because,
And
how did that work
Mario,
out?
Giants having no part in these playoffs, but as I remember correctly, Mario was there rooting for those Vikings.
I was rooting for the
He was
Vikings,
rooting
who
for the
won
Vikings.
anyhow. So my fate was sealed early on. It
His
didn't matter
fate
what
was
happened
sealed.
in that Packer game.
Ours, on the other hand, was not, and I watched the Packers. The 1 week we actually had to root for them. They come out and they laid down. They laid down a lot of the game. They overled that first drive. You saw the Vikings come out and they used play action and they were throwing the ball all over them, and it was just seemed like they left the window open for the Packers.
Well, just a reminder,
Vikings.
it's 24-3, Green Bay over Minnesota in the
getting
third
out of hand.
quarter, and you're listening to Vegas Sports Nuts coming to you live from Murphy's Law on Flamingo Road, just east of Maryland Parkway. You're welcome to come on by for great food, great prices, great people, and we do this every Saturday night. And Mario, what else do you think is going on?
Well, I think Tom Coughlin is still in his office at the stadium figuring out what the all went wrong, because he is in shock. They say that he has not left his office all week, and
Does he share an office with the guy from the Jets?
no,
2 minutes,
no,
2
they,
minutes.
They put up a big, thick wall between the two of them. But one of the things, someone in the Giant organization who writes for the Giants, and I had a conversation earlier in the week, and he said, maybe what the Giants needed to do, especially when Hakeem Nicks wasn't healthy, is give Reuben Randall, and with Bradshaw, maybe they went too long with him, with his ankles and knees, and maybe they should have given the ball to Wilson more. So maybe the youth was not served on the New York Giants down the stretch, and they had the horses. And I think that you're going to see those two players out of the chute next year be feature players. And I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to whether or not they bring a great pro like Ahmad Bradshaw back, because he has a chronic situation with those ankles that I don't think is ever going to get well.
Well, it's been exciting. It's been a great season working with all of you guys here at Murphy's Law. We invite you to come back next Saturday for Vegas Sports Nuts. You can check us out online. Tomorrow we've got the Colts and Ravens at 10 in the morning. At 1:30, Seahawks and Redskins. Hopefully we'll see you. We're over at LVH. And Comedy After Dark starts Grandma Lee at the LVH Hotel and Casino starting January 9th. There's a great benefit on Sunday over in Boulder City. It's for those families at Newtown. So if you're looking for something to do, and also our friend from Zoe Bowie will be at Bally's on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. My name is Jonathan Scott. You can find me on the Morning Blend on Fridays on Channel 13
30
in Las
seconds.
Vegas. We want to thank everybody for coming out to Murphy's Law on Flamingo, just east of Maryland Parkway. Check us out on the web at VegasSportsNuts.com. And keep watching football. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week over at Vegas Sports Nuts at Murphy's Law. Thank you, everybody.